Well, Henshaw here again, Constitutional Crisis Channel. And this one's addressed to enlighten you on what I call the New York banksters at 120 Broadway, New York, New York. That's the Federal Reserve bankers and the DTCC, the Depository Trust and Clearance Corporations, and other bastards like that. And one of the best books that you can read on this subject to start out with is called The Creature from Jekyll Island, The Hidden History of the Federal Reserve by G. Edward Griffin. Pick up a copy wherever you can find one. It's a fine book. Talks about how the thing was supposedly enacted by Congress and all the crap that goes along with it. It's a great starting place to understand what's really going on with the banking system today. And it may just be by reading a book like this and other ones I'm going to tell you about, you too may have a lot of questions for Janet Yellen, the current Federal Reserve Chairman, just like I do. But that's a great starting place. Other ones along the same line are written by Antony C. Sutton, and this guy has stuff, dead bang, chapter and verse about how the New York bankers paid for the Soviet Revolution in 1917, almost 100 years ago now, called Wall Street and the Bolshevik Revolution. How we put Adolf Hitler into power, Wall Street and the rise of Hitler. He also wrote a book called The War on Gold that exposes all the things the government has done to get gold and specie off the market and go into paper currency. This stuff is incredible when you think about it. And this explains a lot of what's going on here and in comparatively easy terms to understand it. Now, I have another one yet I want to call your attention to, and this is cited in my paperwork in more than one place. And this is a session of the House Subcommittee on Banking and Finance when the then chairman of the Federal Reserve, appropriately named Mariner S. Eccles, this is in 1941, was questioned about, the goings-on of the Fed, and he was asked, where did you get that $3 billion, that's with the B, this is 1941 now, not 2001, to buy all those federal securities? Answer, we got it out of the right to create credit money. Question, and there is nothing behind this money, is there? Answer, no. There's nothing behind it except the government credit. And next question was to the effect of, well, that means there's nothing behind it at all except debt. And the answer to that from Mariner S. Eccles is, that's correct. Without debt, there would be no money. Now, you tell me, and that's one of the questions I'd love to ask Janet Yellen myself, has there been any change in the last 75 years? I haven't seen it. But did they openly admit this? They really do. This is the problem with all these New York banksters, and this is where most of the trouble is centralized. And if you look at, everything that's happened in the last 150 years at least, they're the ones who benefit. Not the average Joe on the street. Not you and me, the Joe Sixpacks of the world, which is why I call my documents Joe Sixpack, if you're wondering about that. But this is how it works. Money talks and BS walks, like my sweetie's fond of telling me all the time. Although she's now seen my record of 20-0, where that's not necessarily so all the time. Or as George Gershwin might say, it ain't necessarily so. That's from Porgy and Bess, if you don't know. And I'm working my ass off here to get it to where we can go in there and do things in the courts, get into our own courts, and make them pay. That's the bottom line here. Thank you.